Hello dear friends, my name is Zanun Isa. I am a teacher of English as a second language. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Teaching English Online Platform TEP. Today I'm going to teach you the first unit of TKT Module 2, Lesson Planning and Use of Resources for Language Teaching, Unit 1, Identifying and Selecting Aims. In this lesson we are going to answer three important questions. What is a lesson aim? How do we identify and select lesson aims? What are the four types of aims? And so by the end of the lesson, you are expected to be able to distinguish between these four types of aims. Have you ever asked yourself what is a lesson aim? A lesson aim describes what we want our learners to learn or be able to do by the end of the lesson. And that might be a focus on language skills or language structure and functions. Here are the four types of aims: main aims, subsidiary aims, personal aims, and stage aims. In this lesson, we are going to learn about these four types of aims in more details. Number one, what is the main aim of the lesson? The main aim of the lesson is the most important thing that we want our learners to learn or be able to do. For example, reinforcing or consolidating the use of the past simple when giving details of the past events. Number two, what is subsidiary aim? Subsidiary aim shows the language or the skills that our learners must be able to use very well in order to achieve the main aim of the lesson. For example, teaching the students or your learners the forms of the past or the structure of the past simple. Number three, what is personal aim? Personal aim shows what we want to improve or focus on in our teaching at personal level. For example, using teaching aids more effectively in your class. As you can see here in the picture, there's a female teacher has some pictures and drawings with her students in the class. Number four, what is stage aim? Stage aim describes the purpose of each stage of the lesson. As you can see here, we have procedure and stage aim. Stage aim here is to contextualize or set the context of the topic of holidays. And procedure describes what the learners will do at each stage of the lesson. In this case, you can show your students some pictures of various holiday destinations to talk about their last holidays. As you can see here, we have Taj Mahal and Eiffel Tower. For more examples, look at the table. There are the differences between main aims, subsidiary aims, and personal aims. Main aims here is to practice making polite requests in the context of making holiday arrangements. And subsidiary aim, students might need to revise grammar, for example, model auxiliary verbs, could you, would you, in order to make polite requests. And students might also need some keywords for travel and accommodations. And the personal aim in this lesson might be to improve the organization of the whiteboard or the blackboard to give clear examples to your students. Lesson plan, key concepts. These are the most important information that you have to know about planning a lesson. Number one, the syllable or the course book will give us a general direction for planning our teaching. To specify main aims for a particular lesson, we need to think about two things: the needs of our learners and the stage they have reached in their learning. Number two, the difference between aim and procedure. Aim describes what the learners will learn, whereas procedures describes what learners will do at each stage of the lesson. Number three, our aims should not be too general. Instead, they should be very specific, they should be very clear and straightforward so that the learners understand what they are going to do in the lesson. Number four, once we have identified the most appropriate main aim for a particular lesson, then it should be very easy to make decisions about anything else, such as procedures, stage aims, teaching aids, and so on and so forth. Number five, learners of all ages, kids, teenagers, adults, find it very helpful to know what they are going to do. Here is the most important question: how do we identify and select lesson aims? In order to identify and select lesson aims, we have to ask ourselves two important questions: what our learners already know and what they need to know. In short, by identifying the main aims and subsidiary aims are the first steps in lesson planning. And by identifying the main aim for each stage of the lesson, we can make sure that there is a clear purpose for each stage of the lesson which contributes to the main aim of the whole lesson. Down below, there are some activities for you to do with the key answers. And the next lesson will be identifying the different components of a lesson plan. If you don't want to miss any of these lessons, please subscribe to my channel now. If you have your friends or colleagues who are interested in TKT preparation, ask them to subscribe as well. If you have any advice, comments or questions, never hesitate to share them with me. Best of luck. Thank you for clicking.